This is Sean O'Malley, and you're watching Full-Time MMA. Don't be a bagel-biting, bagel-bitch boy, bagel-bitch back.
Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, because you know what time it is. It's full time
MMA.
And what is going on, full-time family? It is time for the Bellator 205 breakdown and predictions. This card is going to be headlined by AJ Mckee and John Macapa. So let's get straight into it, man. You can see it's a 4-fight main card. It's going down this Friday, which is going to be the 20th. Or actually, it's going to be the 21st. The 21st of September. So with that being said, the day after that is going to be UFC Sao Paulo. And the day before that is going to be the McGregor versus Khabib press conference. So there's a lot of shit going down in MMA right now. And Bellator is kind of smushed in the middle of those two UFC events. But this is still going to be a fun card. Not the most stacked, but still some good fights for sure on this 4-fight main card. So let's get into the breakdown and predictions. Right off the top, we've got Denise Kielholtz taking on Veda Arteaga. This fight, man, you can see I've got Denise Kielholtz picked to win. Denise Kielholtz went 18-2 as a kickboxer before moving to MMA and is now 2-1 as a professional fighter. Veda Arteaga is slightly more experienced in MMA, but only has 6 pro fights, so not way more experienced. I'm actually going to be going with the former kickboxer Denise Kielholtz because she's got a lot more professional fight experience with her kickboxing experience mixed in. And also Arteaga isn't really a super high-level wrestler or to really be able to take advantage of any holes in Denise's takedown defense or her, grappling. So Veda, I also watched one of Veda's fights before these predictions, and she was kind of getting clipped up in one of her fights, and it was by a girl that was not 18-2 as a professional kickboxer. So the stand-up I definitely give to Denise Kielholtz. We'll see if Veda can put together a grappling-heavy game plan and try and win a decision that way. We'll see what happens. Going to be a good WMMA fight, though, and I believe it's taking place at 125 pounds. Moving on, we've got Patricky Pitbull taking on Roger Huerta. I actually really like this fight, man. I like all these fights. I'm not going to lie. I mean, as a Bellator fan, this is actually a good card. As if you're a casual fan and you don't really watch every card, you probably don't, aren't as excited. But I really like all of these fights. So let's get into Patricky Pitbull versus Roger Huerta. Roger Huerta is 4-7 since leaving the UFC back in 2010, and he's coming off of a loss to Benson Henderson in his last Bellator fight. And so with that being said, before he returned to Bellator, he was 2-2 in his last 4 fights against guys that were not as skilled as Patricky Pitbull. So you can see I've actually got Patricky Pitbull picked to win this fight. Patricky Pitbull is 5-1 in his last 6 fights with Bellator, and he's only lost to Michael Chandler in those fights, and he's got good wins over Ryan Couture, Josh Thompson, Benson Henderson, and Derek Campos. So Patricky Pitbull is definitely a very skilled fighter in Bellator, and he could probably be fighting. He's one of those guys that could probably be fighting in the UFC with some of those top 15 guys, but he's under the Bellator roster with his brother. But he's definitely one of the better fighters over there in the featherweight division. So with that being said, he's going to be taking on Roger Huerta. So I'm going to be for sure taking Patricky to win this fight if he doesn't get caught by the veteran Roger Huerta. Patricky's slightly younger and he's slightly less experienced, but he's definitely been fighting higher level competition, and he even has a split decision win over Benson Henderson, who beat Roger Huerta in his last fight. So, on to the co-main event, we got Rafael Lovato Jr. versus John Salter. This fight was really hard for me to call. John Salter, I was going to give the edge to originally because this was almost a toss-up for me, because Rafael Lovato Jr. is very, very skilled as far as jiu-jitsu is concerned. Probably he might be the best grappler in Bellator's middleweight division. He's undefeated at 8-0, but he's got a lot of jiu-jitsu credentials. He's going to be taking on the finisher, John Salter, and I don't think that's his actual nickname, but he's kind of like Nikita Krylov. He's never been to a decision. He's 15-3. All 15 wins were finishes. I believe he has 7 knockouts and 8 submissions. And then all 3 of his losses were finishes. 1 knockout loss, 2 submission losses. So with that being said, he has shown he can be submitted. And if this fight goes to the floor, I definitely give the mat edge to Rafael Lovato Jr. And leading up to this fight, I mean, John Salter's definitely kind of a jiu-jitsu guy as well. He can definitely knock guys out and finish guys. He's shown. But going into this match, Rafael Lovato Jr. is kind of one of the headlines I read. He's looking at John Salter, and John Salter's being labeled more as a jiu-jitsu rival for Rafael Lovato Jr. So with that being said, yeah, John Salter can knock guys out, but so can Rafael Lovato Jr. Both of these guys can, but I really think on the mat is where they both shine. And so with that being said, Rafael Lovato Jr. I think might shine a little brighter on the mat. So I think if this fight goes to the floor, I give the edge to Rafael Lovato Jr. Though I think John Salter can win this fight. It's very close. If he can keep the fight standing, he could potentially outstrike Rafael Lovato Jr. But if this fight gets to the mat, man, he really might get submitted in this fight against the undefeated Rafael Lovato Jr. John Salter's 15-3 though. He's 4-0 in Bellator right now. And he's, like I said, he's finished all of his. He's been in the finish in all of his fights. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna give the edge to Rafael Lovato Jr., but I am not confident in that pick by any means. So it's a toss-up for me almost. But I do think Rafael Lovato Jr. will either be able to find a submission in this fight, or maybe even a decision. We'll see. And I don't think this fight's going to go to a decision though, because John Salter's resume and how he doesn't take it, he doesn't go to decision at all. So we'll see what happens, man. I really like this fight. I mean, between this fight and the Patricky Pitbull fight versus Roger Huerta, I'm kind of already in. So that's just me. I'm pretty easy to please with these cards, but that co-main event is super dope. I'm going to be at work, so I won't get to watch this card, but hey, it is what it is, man. We'll definitely be doing a live fight companion for the UFC fights on Saturday since I don't work. So if you're watching this, make sure you subscribe if you're new and check that out. But let's move to the main event before we get out of here. We're going to be breaking down the fight between AJ Mckee and John Macapa. AJ Mckee is undefeated, been talking a big game leading up to this fight. He believes he's the best featherweight in Bellator and the best in the world even. And I say, slow down, young buck. You are only 23 years old, and yes, you've been looking great. He even went 7-1 as an amateur before signing with Bellator and going 11-0. He's only 23 years old though, so he's still got room to grow for sure. So no reason to really think you're the best fighter in the world at 23 years old. I just don't even really think that's logical. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Aaron Pico's a fucking stud. He's still a few years away. I don't know, maybe not. I mean, there are some guys, but I just don't see it yet. AJ Mckee's got a lot of room. He's got a lot of time. He's got a bright future, a lot of potential, but I just don't think he's the best in the world right now. So it is what it is, though. He's talking a big game. I mean, it didn't work out for James Gallagher, but it kind of did, right? It makes you interested in watching him fight. It makes you wonder, who is this guy? Who is this feeling like he's the best in the world? And you want to watch his fight. So, hey, it is what it is. I'm not going to knock a man for selling the fight, but I just don't agree with it. So, with that being said, I'm actually going to be picking his opponent, John Macapa, to hand him his first loss in this fight and maybe humble him just a bit. John Macapa Teixeira de Conceição has a lot more pro experience. He's 21-3-2, so he's actually got 26 pro fights, over double AJ Mckee's professional fights, and he's been fighting higher level competition. So yeah, I'm picking John Macapa. I think he's going to hand AJ Mckee his first loss. Like I said, AJ Mckee's got a lot of potential, a bright future. He's still very young, and this is a step up in competition from the guys that he's fought to date. And also, if you've watched AJ Mckee's last two fights, he was kind of tested in both of them. He looked good in one, but he got tired in the second round, regot his energy, and was able to win the fight. And then in the other fight, he was tested as well. So he's not the best fighter in the world yet, but he's definitely very talented, and he could for sure win this fight. But I'm taking John Macapa to get the W. We'll see what happens, man. That's my breakdown of UFC 205. Hope you guys enjoyed it. With that being said, it is what it is. If you're interested in full fight card breakdowns, betting advice, anything like that, make sure you check out the Full-Time MMA Dojo. That's located, you can find the link in the description at patreon.com/fulltimemma, and you can check everything over there out for free. So make sure you click the link, check it out, and let the Full-Time family know what you think in the comments. I'm out.
Da 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 da! It's the motherfucking DOWG!